Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahashayata Charu Chapam Nabami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. I have given you the mystical meanings, and we move on to Bala Kanda. Doha number 1. Sorata has already gone on, so this is not the beginning. This is the process of Bala Kanda. And Saint Tulsidasji focuses his attention on Sajjan, Durjan. So first division has to be well understood. Should you be a Sajjan? Should you be a Durjan? And what does it mean to be Sajjan? And what's the difference between Sajjan and Durjan? That's a profound topic. What's the difference between daivi sampat and asuri sampat? Daivi sampat, the term for that is sur. Asuri sampat is asur. Those who know music, to be in sur, to be well harmonized from your very source, then you are embodiment of daivi sampat. All the good qualities will enter into you. But we are not well organized. Asur. There is more head, less heart, and lesser hands. I'm just making a joke, but the idea is to understand when there is disharmony in your personality, you are not a real devotee or a real religious person. So when you have become fully harmonized with God within you, all the divine qualities begin to express through your personality. But to understand them, that requires also subtle intellect. Because those divine qualities, they don't sit on your shoulders like pigeons or doves. Let me continue now. Jatha suvanjana anjidrig sadhaka siddha sujan kautuk dekhat salaban bhutal bhuri nidhan. Just as different type of spiritual seekers who are in early stage as sadhaka, seekers who have developed divine powers, they are siddhas. But siddhas are not necessarily the highest, depending upon the context. A siddha may do amazing things, but has nothing to do with self-realization. And good personalities. In old time, people looked for a psychic power called Siddhanjan. And when they put on that psychic power, that Siddhanjan, a special collyrium in their eyes, a mystic powder in the eye, they were able to see hidden minerals, precious things among the mountains, among the forests, deep within the earth, You must realize in Tulsidasji's time, science had not progressed that much. And yet Tulsidasji envisions the possibility of having all these powers. Sit back at your home and you can call everybody from your distant home and let them perform right in front of your hand. And that's a big siddhi. Amazing powers are possible at this time. And those who have them, they think they are in a position to enjoy the world in a profound way. But that is not really so. The real enjoyment will come if you understand the potentiality of your personality, that you are meant to attain God realization. And therefore, you need to integrate your personality, action into karma yoga, feelings into bhakti yoga, all meditative movements, the act of will into dhyana yoga, and actual understanding of who am I, jnana yoga. These four were to integrate. You are now becoming sur. You will be in harmony with the deepest source. But in order to attain that type of integration, you have to be guided by Guru. Guru Pada Raja Mridu Manjula Anjan Nayan Amiyadriga Dosha Vibhanjan Tehi Kari Bimal Viveka Vilochan Baranau Ramacharita Bhavamochan. The lotus feet, the dust from the lotus feet of Sri Guru is that mystic magic. If you apply that collyrium to your eyes, all the defects of vision are removed. By the vision implies viveka vision, what's termed as sanamati, good understanding, also termed as vivek in a more prominent way. Vivek se barto. So whatever action you do it with vivek. If you don't possess vivek, you are blind. Vivek means a subtle understanding that shows to you the difference between the self and the not self, the truth and falsehood. And that viveka buddhi in the Ramayana, as you will see, is personified in Sita. Rama is the soul within you with this fourth basic set. Rama is Tattva Gyan, all knowledge, pure consciousness. Lakshmana is will, Dhyana Yoga. Bharata is Bhakti, devotion. Shatrughna is the removal of impurities, malas, Karma Yoga. Karma, Bhakti, Dhyana and Jnana. All these have been born as sons of Dasharatha. Dasharatha is human consciousness with 10 indriyas. And that's the story of Rama. How does Rama unfold his leela, his sport? How he gets married to Sita. How Sita becomes the basis of his going after the demons, Khara, Dusana, and all those various stories, implying this entire story of spiritual progress and attaining enlightenment is Ramayana being conducted within your own personality. Bandau pratham mahi suracharana, moha janit sansaya sabaharana, sujan samaj sakala gun khani, karam pranama saprema subani. First of all, I bow down to the feet of Mahisura Charana. Mahi is called the earth. And those who walk upon the earth as gods, in simple interpretation, those who adore the feet of Brahmanas. But Brahmana knows as a caste. But Brahmana who is following the characteristics of being a Brahmana. One who is following the path of liberation. And what are these characteristics of the feet? This point I have discussed with you before. The feet play a great part, but it is allegorical, because spiritual movement is not conducted by your physical feet, but physical feet become your Shraddha-based symbol. You want to follow someone, a simple way to follow is first to look for his feet, because that's the way he will walk. So feet have gathered a special symbolism. Charana bandhana, bowing down to the feet. That would imply your developing deep devotion to your Guru, to those who are spiritually advanced. And Charana bandhana, what does that do? It removes all doubts based upon ajnan, ignorance. The simple point is all refer to the Upanishadic knowledge. Brahma satyam jagana mithya. Brahman alone is real. The world is false. But this falsity of the world is not recognized because the mind is subjected to three defective bhavanas. They are all called moha-janit sansaya, moha-based bhavanas. And what are they? Sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana, viparita bhavana. Sanshaya bhavana is like putting there is a boat to carry you across the river. But near the boat there is another boat also. Sanshaya bhavana is you put one foot on the one boat and another foot on the other boat. Vividha. And you go back to the first one. Then somehow your mind says, no, the second one, that's the one will go. And the mind becomes so confused that your one foot is one place and one foot there. And you are in a terrible predicament. Achieve nothing. Majority of people, vast population of humanity is gripped by sanshaya bhavana. There is no clarity of understanding. God is there, but how much does He know? How much can He help me? What have I to do to Him? Sanshaya of all types. And who is telling about God in the perfect way? So there are lots of sanshaya. But when Satsanga begins to remove your sanshaya, the whole theme here is focused on Satsanga. If you were to be associated with those who are Mahisuras, Brahmanas, those who are pursuing a spiritual path, then moha-janit sanshaya begins to move away. So as I was telling about the three types, sanshaya bhavana, asambhavana. When sanshaya begins to move away and it comes to your understanding that I am going to attain enlightenment because there is no other reality within me. Brahman alone is real. But then the smart intellect begins to give you answer. You can't expect that in this life. You do know how many karmas you have created. So, immediate response comes from your mind, asambhavana. It's impossible. Sanshaya bhavana is removed by listening, shravana. The more you listen in Satsanga and understand the arguments of Vedanta and the power of devotion, the more you listen, sanshaya begins to move away. The next, reflection. When you have listened to the great truth that you are not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, you are Satchidananda, existence, knowledge and bliss absolute. Now practice reflection, practice affirmation. If you begin to practice it, the question that how can I attain liberation? I have so many karmas. Even God cannot calculate it. I'm joking. So asambhavana is removed by vichar, what is known as manana, shravana, manana. And if you go deep into Vedantic reflection, it's called nididhyasana. If you go deep into Vedantic reflection, you realize that all you experience is reflections in consciousness. Just like you look into a mirror, and mirror that is so direct recedes from your vision. What you are seeing is your reflected nose, your ears, your grey hair. I'm joking. All don't have grey hair. But you are so immersed in these reflections that you don't realize that first and foremost that you are seeing is the mirror. Mirror is the direct reality. Reflections are indirect, viparit. Mirror is direct. Reflections are indirect. So that viparita buddhi, that is the predicament of the masses. That constantly the mind is working upon its projections, but not on the screen on which the projections are cast. Mind is working on all those thoughts, desires, etc., but not on the very consciousness which underlies all mental movements, Chaitanya. So, by good association, all this becomes possible. Moh janit sansaya sabharana. Sadhu charit subhaka charit kapasu. Nirasvi sadguna maya palajasu. Jo sahi dukha parachidra duava. Vandaniya jai jagajasa pava. Now, saintly character is being presented to you. The distinction between sant and asant. The distinction between daivi sampat and asuri sampat. That distinction must enter deep in your heart. The day it enters, you become a profound sadhaka. Sadhu charit, the conduct of saints and sages. That conduct must be your example to follow. But what is the characteristic of sadhu samaj or sant charitra? Tulsidasji compares that to a cotton tree. Out of the cotton tree comes the cotton. When the cotton comes, it has a strange fluff and it's dry, neerus. At the same time, it has a shimmer, vishad. and it goes into threads, gunamaya. In the character of a saint, that quality of kapas, cotton, applies to a profound way. Santa Charitra, the conduct of a saint, is devoid of Vishaya Sakti, attachment to the pleasures of the senses. That's Vishaya Sakti. Therefore, it is niras. Niras literally means essenceless. But niras is a spiritual quality. Vishaya ras is moved away from your heart. Then niras, niramoha, being nirmohi. These terms have taken different meanings in different contexts. Another quality of the kapas, cotton, is it's snowy white. The heart of a sage is free from the forces of darkness. Therefore, it is vishad, snowy white, shining. And most important point, it has gunas, threads. By the cotton provides threads, threads provide garments, clothes, clothes allow you to cover up. In other words, a saintly personality is as described like the cotton, and it covers up the defects of others. A saint doesn't exist to highlight the defects of others. Your purpose is not to become a saint and make others a saints. Be good, do good. Doing good is based upon your being good. Mud mangalamaya sant samaju, jo jag jangam tirath raju, Rama bhakti jaha sur saridhara, sarasai brahma vichara prachara. Sant samaj, that's to say satsanga, is blissful and it brings divine auspiciousness. Satsanga is a dynamic form of prayag. Prayag is one of the greatest pilgrimage centers where three rivers meet: Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. Ganga is Bhakti Yoga, the path of wisdom. Yamuna is Karma Yoga, path of action. Saraswati is Jnana Yoga, the path of profound reflection. And these terms, Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, they come in Kundalini Yoga also. Ganga represents Ida Nadi. Yamuna represents Pingala Nadi. Saraswati, when Nadi Shuddhi has occurred and Kundalini begins to pass through Sushumna. When that happens, your intellect begins to turn towards the highest wisdom. The purpose behind all that, don't go on looking for big pilgrimage centers. If you happen to be there, it's wonderful. Wherever you are, wherever God places you, if you enjoy satsanga, if you develop the idea, Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani, if world is full of Sita and Ram, Karon Pranam Jori Jug Pani, with folded hands I bow down to Sita and Ram everywhere. If that type of spirit is developing, you are enjoying the highest pilgrimage center. Simple way it is said, Manchangat Katvat Me Ganga. If mind is feeling joyous, sattvic, Even in a katavat, in a tub, you find the joy of entering into Ganges water. Vidhi nishedhamay kalimalay barkarani, karama katha ravi nandini barani, harihar katha virajati beni, sunat sakala buddha mangala deni. Vidhi nishedh. Yamuna river relates to Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga relates to what you should do and what you shouldn't do. How you should follow your swadharma, not go after paradharma. How to convert your karma into Karma Yoga. All these are symbolized by Yamuna river. Similarly, all the devotional stories of Shiva and Vishnu are implied in the Ganges river. And the highest attainment, Saraswati awaits. That's the highest attainment. But Vishwasa chala nij dharma, tirataraj samaja sukarma, sabahi sulabha sab din sab desha, sevat sadar saman kalesha. And invincible trust in your dharma. That is to say, in this type of Santa Samaj, this is the glorification of Satsanga. If you develop intense trust that Satsanga will lead me on, Satsangatve nihasangatvam, nihasangatve nirmohatvam. Satsanga leads you to being detached from erroneous objects and names and forms. Nisangatve nirmohatvam. If you develop that type of detachment, allow your mind to be serene, nirmohatvam, you will not have a smoky vision. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Your mind doesn't have moha. Then there is nischal. Day by day you are close to God, coming to God. You are bonded with God. You are enfolded by God. Otherwise, one day you come close to God, another day we run away from Him. Akatha alaukika tirtha rau, dei sadhya phala pragata prabhavu. So enjoying Satsanga is enjoying Tirthraj, Prayag. Suni samujahi janamuditaman, majjahi ati anurag, lahahi chari phala achatatanu, sadhu samaj Prayag. Those people who understand the glory of Sant Samaj, which is like the Lord of all pilgrimage centers. Those who enjoy Satsanga, listen to the teachings, understand the teachings, lovingly they dive into the teachings. Even within their body, even within their lifetime, they attain 4 purposes of existence: Dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Dharma is your ethical value. Artha is the material value. Kama is vital value, which means social value. Moksha is spiritual value, which is liberation. All this needs to be understood well. If you are properly developing, moving towards these purposes of life, then your life is purposeful. Otherwise, your life is empty. You can have a lot of artha, lot of material means. Without dharma, all the material means are coming to you only to agitate you. You may have all of kama, lot of vital value. You may be a great politician. You may be well recognized, lot of popularity and power. And yet, without dharma, Without subtle spiritual value within yourself, all this means nothing. And finally, your goal is liberation, moksha. And if you follow the four purposes in a proper order, dharma as the basis, on the basis of dharma, create artha. All material values, you can have as much as you want. Can be King Janaka. And with all your material development, you will be helping humanity in a boundless way. Finally, you will be one with God. All the four purposes of life can be attained by a human being during his lifetime. And what's the magic behind it? Bhakti, devotion to God. Majjad phala prekhiye tatkala, kaatho hi pik bakau marala, suni acharaj karay jani koi, satsangati mahima nahi goi. Now, an allegorical way of describing the glory of taking a plunge in the waters of the pilgrimage center, which implies taking a plunge in Satsanga. Black crow turns into glorious swan. That's, if the crow were to enter into Satsanga waters, it would emerge as a swan. Don't become afraid, you will turn into swan. No one should wonder. The glory of Satsanga is well known. Valmiki Narad Ghat Joni, Nij Nij Mukhani Kahi Nij Honi, Jalchara Thalchara Navachara Nana, Je Jada Chetana Jiva Jahana. Now the scriptures are filled with the stories of people like Valmiki. He was a robber. Narada himself started his life with many negative deeds. At one time he had to develop the monkey face. And sage Agastya himself had experienced ups and downs. These are just simple illustrations. And all these and many more will come to you in the Ramayana. The basic point, that transformation that occurs by Satsanga, you cannot imagine. Mati ki rati gati bhuti bhalai, jab jahi jatan jahan jahi pai, so janab Satsanga prabhau, lokahu vedana ana upau. In this world, wherever you find real success, and real success is characterized by having buddhi, shining buddhi, having sanamati, good understanding, and real fame. Real fame is like sandalwood. Sandalwood tree constantly exudes fragrance. Even those who cut at it, they become fragrant. Sadgati, all the movements move towards the goal, enlightenment. All divine, glorious expressions develop in one who becomes saintly. And all that is good, all these have become possible because of Satsanga. Binu Satsanga viveka na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabha na soi, Satsangata mudamangala mula, Soi phala siddhi sab sadhana phula. Without Satsanga, there can be no vivek. You cannot develop sanamati. You cannot develop that insight that I am different from the body, mind, intellect, senses. You cannot have the discriminative vision between the self and the not self. And without it, you cannot attain liberation. Satsanga is the very root of real joy and real spiritual progress. acquiring satsanga and being steady with it, that in itself is your goal. Once you have attained it, sadhana comes like flowers. Satsanga is a tree. Once you have secured it, different types of sadhanas will develop in your personality without your effort. I mean, effort will be there, but spontaneous. Sat sudarahi satsangati payi, paras paras kutakughat suhayi, vidivas sujan kusanjagat parahi, panimani samanij guna anusarahi. Even those who are very dull-witted and tamasic-minded, they change, become transformed from terrible sinner to very advanced saints. Just like we have the magical stories of stones. A magical stone touches the iron and iron becomes gold. Kusangat, one should be careful not to fall into bad association. Vidhivas sujan kusangat parahi. Vidhivas, led by your karmic process. That's what vidhivas means. Led by your negative karmas from the past, slip into a wrong association. And wrong association puts you in a state of confusion. Panimani sam nijaguna anusvarahi. They're a type of snakes that carry a little jewel in their throat. And whenever they need illumination, that jewel allows the snake to move. But instead of money, those who have gotten into bad association, instead of money, they have grabbed something poisonous. Having grabbed it, they are in a double mind, how to swallow it, how to throw it off. Another way we are saying, Bhaigati saap chuchundar keri. Snake catches hold of a mold. Not mold, with the mole. And mole is also like a rat, you see, it's easy. But it's full of smell, bad smell, so it doesn't know what to do. Half it has gone inside, half outside. Vidhi hariharav kavi kao vidabani, kahat sadhu mahima kahta kuchani, somo san kahi jaat na kaise, saat banik bani gunagan jaise. Even great Puranas, scriptures, even Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, great scholars, they are shy in describing the glory of satsanga and the glorious characteristics of saints and sages. How can I, Tulsidasji says, I who am just a farmer selling spinach and vegetables, how can I assess the value of diamonds and jewels? That's the predicament. No matter how the language is, predicament is the masses don't understand the profound value of the spiritual qualities. Daivi sampat is like the jewels. Ignoring it, they are just selling. I will not look down upon the cabbage and spinach. Sant saral chit jagat hit jani subhau sanehu bal binay suni kari kripa ram charan rati dehu. The heart of a saint is saral, simple, with a goodwill for doing good, uplifting the whole world. Knowing this, I offer my prayers to that Sant Samaj. May society of saints bestow upon me love for Rama's feet. And with this I will conclude. Om Shanti.